Arizona in 1901 was a very dangerous place. Bandits, outlaws, stage robbers, and cattle rustlers roamed the sparsely populated territory, causing death and destruction wherever they went. The ranch and business owners in the territory had had enough and demanded protection from those in government. On March 21st, a legislative act authorizing the creation of a company of Arizona Rangers came to be. The first company totaled just 14 men, a captain, a sergeant, and 12 privates. They were well funded with the best horses, weapons, and equipment. It wasn't long before the Rangers were trading lead with outlaws. Here is a newspaper report of one of their first major actions. October the 12th, 1901. Posse and bandits have an encounter. 2 more innocent men fall at the hands of those fiendish, brutal beings called outlaws, supposed to be the Smith Gang. The report came in that a posse following 6 outlaws ran onto them at sundown last Tuesday night, where a hot battle took place, and the report claims Will Maxwell, who was with the pursuing party, was shot through the head and killed. Carlos Tafoya was shot through the right side below the ribs, perhaps fatal. Owing to the darkness coming on, the posse was unable to go nearer the outlaws' position, but it was supposed that 1 outlaw was killed and 1 wounded. The posse afterward gained possession of the outlaws' horses. Mr. E.T. Holgate, a member of the posse who met the Smiths on the evening of the 8th, returned home yesterday. Mr. Holgate says he was in the fight and was near the side of Mr. Tafala when he was shot. Tafoya is in a very serious condition. The hole in his side is so large that when he drinks, the water runs out through it. He was not expected to live over an hour or so when Mr. Holgate left. Mr. Maxwell had the top of his head shot off and instantly killed. He was also but a short distance from Mr. Holgate. They ran the outlaws from their camp, which was situated in a hole, and gained possession of their camp and horses, but he did not think any of the gang was hit. Just as we were ready to go to press, the lifeless body of Mr. Tafora was brought into town. Before Tafala died, he gave Henry Barrett a silver dollar and said, "Give this to my wife. It, along with the month's wages coming to me, will be all she'll ever have." The outlaws then made their way out of the canyon and into what is now the Bear Wallow Wilderness. By the next evening, they had reached a cow camp on Beaver Creek, where they took the cowboys hostage and forced them to prepare food for the gang. Bill Smith recognized one of the hostages, Marion Lee, who had cooked for them and revealed that they had killed Bill Maxwell. Smith, unaware that one of the men he'd shot was his friend, said to Lee, "When he stood up like that, we thought he was Barrett. Barrett was the one we were after. We're real sorry about killing Bill Maxwell. He was a good friend. Tell his mother we're sorry we did it." After stealing a few horses, the gang made their way into the Blue River Wilderness, heading toward the ranch of Hugh McKean to trade the stolen horses. When McKean refused to deal with them, they held him at gunpoint and robbed him of his horses, food, and weapons. The Smith gang then crossed into New Mexico and continued south into Texas, eventually crossing the Rio Grande into Mexico. The United States Army, along with Apache scouts Chicken and Josh, were dispatched to track the gang. The scouts followed their trail across New Mexico, but lost it at the Rio Grande. Though the troops were unsuccessful in capturing the outlaws, they did manage to drive the Smith gang out of Arizona territory. Tafala was buried at St. John's, and Bill Maxwell was laid to rest in his family's cemetery at Nutrioso. Maxwell's hat was left at the scene, bloody and torn, as the posse believed it would bring bad luck to touch it. For years afterward, cowboys reported sightings of the hat while working in the area. In this photograph of the Rangers, you can see one of the men holding a Colt Lightning rifle. This is a rather rare sight, as 99.9% of the time photographs from this era will show men holding Winchesters. This 1892 example, in .44-40 caliber, I acquired years ago. The Colt Lightning rifle, although an innovative and promising design for its time, ultimately faced several minor engineering issues that hindered its overall reliability. Despite its initial appeal, these shortcomings became evident during its use in the rugged conditions of the Old West, where the demands on firearms were unforgiving. In an era where a man's life often depended on the performance of his weapon, the Colt Lightning's occasional malfunctions made it less than ideal for challenges of frontier life. As a result, the rifle never gained widespread popularity and was overshadowed by the Winchester rifle, a more dependable and trusted choice among those who valued reliability above all else.